Alright, hello I'm Sai, and we are back with some more of Sir Brante's adventures. Let's continue where we left off. An illustrious guest. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight. But there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and sullen. She has been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Brante, please, let them live free of the lot for a while longer. They are but... Shut your mouth. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you consider the real marriage, Robert. One to a woman of the proper station. Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down Mother's cheek. Father does not look away from the plate, his hands clenched into fists. Baroness Lodar is one such woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use proper support and a husband. You can keep your lowborn Lydia around if you like, servant, mistress, I don't care. I will not do that, father. I am the head of this family, and the family standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of beautiful Amelia L. Bourne for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me. Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stefan. If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She is coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate, and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. And Father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to Mother in private. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts a crease on the woolen blanket. He distances himself from you after Stefan's departure, so you are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight you can see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma L. Loder, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please, be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She has been crying, and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets, your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard. Then a pair of dainty heels come clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still, fearing Grandfather's observant eye. The door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful, dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant, deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady Allodar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one ever bothers to introduce Mother. Baroness, allow me to introduce you Robert's sons, Bronto and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest, Stefan, who deserves the most attention, but currently he is studying in Eterna, with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here, next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Alright, I think we are in for another death, if it's up to me. Greet the Baroness politely. You approach Baroness Elloder and kiss her hand following father's example. Walk away with mother. You take mother's arm and leave the hall by her side. Maintain your composure. You greet Lady Elloder with restraint and avoid getting too involved in the event. You demand that father introduces mother as his wife. One of these must be true. I demand it, yes. You follow father's example and kiss the Baroness's fingers gently. Her laughter fills the chamber, ringing like chimes. Behind your back you can hear mother sobbing. Grandfather nods to you in approval. Watch this, old man. Out of the corner of your eye you see mother quietly walking upstairs. No, this is wrong. This cannot be. You walk up to father, look him into the eye and ask in a voice loud enough to be heard by everyone. Why didn't he introduce mother to the guest? She is his legal wife and your mother, is she not? There is silence. Mother stops on the stairs and turns her head in surprise. Father is confused. Nathan starts whining again. Grandfather grinds his teeth, his hand tightly gripping the heavy walking stick. You keep father transfixed by your gaze. After a few moments that feel like an eternity, he winks at you, almost imperceptibly, then adjusts his double and turns to your noble guest. Baroness, allow me to introduce Lydia Brante, my wife and mother to my younger children. Lydia, would you be so kind as to join us for dinner? What are you saying, Robert? Father, it would be a disgrace to hold a family dinner without the lady of the house. Father marches up the stairs and offers his hand to mother. She accepts it and walks down with a shy smile on her face. For the first time in those many days, the Baroness presses her lips in contempt at the sight. After a long moment, grandfather finally breaks the uneasy silence and leads everyone into the dining room. Mother sits at the furthest corner of the table, claiming that she needs to watch over Nathan. There is barely any small talk over dinner, apart from the Baroness and grandfather discussing her widowhood and inheritance litigation. Father and mother do not say a word throughout the meal, yet they no longer look as tense as the day before. There is not even a mention of any potential marriage. As soon as the door closes behind the Baroness, you flee to your bedroom and lock the door. Grandfather's heavy footsteps can already be heard in the hallway. He's a force of anger, eager to get his hands on you. Whelp! You had the nerve to interfere in the adults' affairs. You ruined the dinner with the Baroness. Open the door this instant and face the punishment you deserve. Then suddenly his voice dies down. You hear father speaking quietly. We both realize there can be no other marriage, father. I already have a wife, and there is nothing to be done about it. I'm sorry, father, but you will have to accept it. And please leave my son alone. He only helped me face the truth, and nothing else. Why do I have a feeling that maybe the grandfather will try and get mother murdered? Grandfather huffs and puffs at a loss for words. You hear the head of Brante family and his adult son retreat from the door of your room. It seems there will be no punishment today after all. Grandfather leaves for Eterna, alone. About a fortnight later, father receives a letter from Stefan. It seems grandfather told him about the incident with the Baroness, and so the letter is full of ire. He writes that you have reminded high society about father's marriage to a low-born woman, and now the family's reputation is at stake. Father winces when he reads Stefan's letter deep in thought, but mother is smiling again because of father's actions, her joy a quiet, happy glow. Well, he hates us even more. However, family is more united. Oh, and our honor is worse, but didn't went up down a rank. We did that all until the age of 6. The kaleidoscope. Father checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. Once he becomes so annoyed, he says that he wishes Stefan had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear these words from your father, of all people. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room across from the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now she seems preoccupied with a strange cube. Aren't you hurt by the way grandfather treats you? You ask. Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always says they should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way. That's it. She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole on one end of the tube. Your eyes see a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. Funny, because I also had that experience about this age as well. My female cousin had one, and it was really cool. It's like seeing fractals, I guess. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You are riding at the front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines, and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending, secretive and calm and peaceful, just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth like Mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow you see Gloria's green eyes glazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned and time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how you try. You are caught in an inner conflict. There is so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart, or ask Gloria how it works, or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do today. You start taking the toy apart to learn the secrets of the never-ending patterns. You choose to finish your studies first and share the discoveries with Gloria later. These both take willpower. You keep playing with the kaleidoscope as visions of warriors bathed in glory reveal themselves before you. As a kid, I took apart my toys a lot, and I was so sad about them because they would always end up broken. So, I think I'm going to try that. Take the kaleidoscope apart. You examine the kaleidoscope as curiosity overtakes you. There is something strange rumbling around inside it. It has to be a mystery of some kind. You are dying to figure it out, itching to understand how it works. You rip away the wooden cylinder on the wide end of the kaleidoscope. Inside you see 3 elongated mirrors, put together to form a triangle. The transparent glass shield falls out and onto your knees. A bunch of glittering tiny glass baubles scatter on the table. There was nothing infinite inside it. You realize it was just a clever trick. With a heavy heart, you go to your sister's room and confess to breaking the kaleidoscope. Gloria is sad but not angry with you. She asks you to promise never to take her things apart again. You promise. Oh, now we are at max perception. Insightful. We still have some willpower, right? Minus... Oh no, we are at 0, sorry. Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you are used to, something nagging yet not unordinary, like a splinter or a stain on your trousers. The tension still remains, however. Sir Gregor's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable, it almost thinks for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You are walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She is startled. "Oh, it's you, Brante. Look, Sir Gregor's eating something." Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass ball with another now and then. Inside the ball, you see candied fruit, a sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-bond treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the ball on a shelf, and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candy ball when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but next comes curiosity, and it is stronger. Stefan used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. You try a candied fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It is so sweet. You have never eaten anything as good as this. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes a fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully, like a rare treasure. There is a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. You have no idea why, but grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she is frozen in place with the ball in her hands. The door opens, grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hand seizes her arm. "You squalid, ungrateful, low-born child, how dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Have you forgot your lot?" His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. She falls to the floor right next to where you are hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready. But then he sees you huddling behind the armchair. "Please, don't hurt him, Sir Brante. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me." You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, Milksop? Did you try the sugar too? Or were you trying to stop this piece of filth like she says? Oh. You start mocking grandfather, convinced that Gloria will join you. Okay. That would be a bad idea anyway. You tell the truth, you did eat the candied fruit with your sister. You convinced grandfather that you were trying to stop Gloria. I tell him. You stand up and tell the truth, even though it takes you an effort to do it. You actually ate a candied fruit, but Gloria only touched it. You hope this will help your sister avoid punishment. You are quickly proven wrong. Grandfather's face is red with rage. He strikes you both with his walking stick, blow for blow. He keeps hitting you until he grows tired, and then he leaves you where you are. Soon enough, Mother comes in to find the two of you on the floor, too afraid to move. She shakes her head in disappointment. You are badly hurt and covered in bruises, yet she still forces you to kneel and recite the precepts on the lots and how important it is to follow them. Oh, +1? Oh, I guess because I told the truth. Then you stand before father and grandfather and swear never to take things that do not belong to you again. More perception. Our willpower is now in the minus. Uh-oh. Oh, that's it? Okay. The sacrament. Father and mother have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you are told to To say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament. Mother, I want to go play in the yard. No playing today. You and Brante are big boys now. It is time for you both to have your first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Be quiet and listen. You were born commoners, so you must accept a lowborn lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will get a chance to earn a noble lot. Father and mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anisote, slowly and solemnly. One more turn and you see the colossal white building marked by two massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into two halls. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the lowborn estate shall suffer in the house of the fate. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar, where you and the other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest, dressed in black, with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He is scared. You remain quiet, but his stomach roars in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him towards the altar and throws him on the jagged floor on the lowborn side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red around him. I don't wanna, Brante. Why do they want to whip me? What did I do? You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labor and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh thy first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother. His knee is torn and bloodied. His spirit is broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees and feel the sharp stones below. So sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down, and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot? Oh, no determination, no willpower. You catch the lash before it strikes your shoulders. Or accept it. You humbly accept the commoner's law. This is so risky, but I am going to do it. The lash strikes, but your hand flies up and intercepts it before it can reach your shoulder. The leather whip leaves a deep cut on the palm of your hand. Blood starts dripping down your arm, soaking your humble shirt with red. The furious priest yanks the lash out of your hand. The acolytes grab you by the arms again. You will not be given a second chance to interrupt the sacrament. The lash cracks. It hits you on the right shoulder. You grit your teeth. Your back barely hurts at all. The real pain comes from the cut on your hand. The lash strikes again, this time on your left shoulder. You rise and walk away from the altar, swaying. You see things with surprising clarity right now. A timid hand touches yours. It is Nathan. His tearful face, a mixture of confusion and awe. Mother takes your hand and leads you out of the church. Once you are outside, she scolds you for being insubordinate. Grandfather is the last to leave his church. His face is covered in red, angry blotches. There is a quiet fury in his voice as he says something to Father, who remains quiet and miserable as you walk to the carriage. You defied a powerful will that day. There is fear inside of you. You fear that this will might one day destroy you. Oh, whoops. At least we are determined, though. I'm starting to see a pattern. Maybe determination is our path out of the lot. We received the commoner's lot, okay. Year 1125, childhood's end. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot. Suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But Father keeps telling you to study hard, so you may yet earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stefan still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it beneath him to write to the commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. But most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is this just him? Or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You are older now. And what's more, you are an elder brother now. You learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Excuse me. Now your choices will decide your place in the bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. End of chapter 1. Childhood. Okay. Personal qualities that you have accumulated in childhood, they will convert into adult qualities at the end of chapter 2, Adolescence. Okay, determined, perception, willpower, died once, yep.
I was growing up fast. The school, the streets, and the whole wide world awaited me beyond the gate of my parents' house.
Chapter 2, Adolescence. Oh, we got new menus. You lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life grows more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now that realm is expanding. It also includes your neighborhood, the nearby houses, the streets of the ancient city of Anisote. A question now looms over you, growing more pressing with each passing year. What will your place be in this vast outside world? Few people in the blessed Arcanian Empire trouble themselves with this question. It's not within a man or woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by their birth and those who bore them. And yet, your peculiar birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, a worthy example in matters of duty and honor. Your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, humility and patience made flesh. And your sky is ablaze day and night with the light of the shining pillar, the beacon of the clergy. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Will you accept the drudgery and suffering that is the lot of the lowborn for your entire life? Or will you follow in the footsteps of your father and your father's father and fight for the right to serve the empire as a noble of the mantle? Perhaps will you follow the twin gods' word and offer spiritual guidance to others? The answer lies out there in the vast, terrifying world. What awaits you beyond the walls of your home? Events that can happen to the Brante family in this chapter. Gloria's secret. You discover the secret society your sister Gloria has joined. I have this checked. You find out about your elder brother's forbidden love, Stefan's disgrace. Oh, that could be his downfall. Secret society. Maybe she's going to be some kind of priest? Or priestess? You join the blood tide of the Brante family. Ritual, Gregor Brante reputation. Okay, this is no way for us. Neither this. Maybe this is. Your younger brother Nathan Brante receives a spiritual admonition from you. Maybe this is as well. Matters of... Oh, there's even more. You experience your first romantic feelings. Revelations of the tree. You experience a revelation by the sacred silver tree. Oh, we could actually get this. Sophia saved. You saved the local girl named Sophia from lesser death. Oh, new traits. Okay, so that's where they come from. Your personal qualities at this age, they determine which choices you may take. Nobility, ingenuity, spirituality. Okay, let's read these. Represents how noble your thoughts and deeds are in your pursuit of the honorable ideas of the nobleman. It affects your chances of becoming a noble of the mental and future skills that are crucial for the noble estate. Represents how quick-witted you are and how skillfully you can manipulate a situation to your own end. It affects your ability to survive without the privileges of nobility and future skills that are crucial for a commoner. I like this. Your aspiration to unlock the mysteries of creation and explore the divine in the mortal world, the people around you and yourself. It affects your ability to become a priest and future skills crucial for the clergy. Not so much interested, but maybe some points in that would be okay. And this is how we start because of the previous one. Okay, relations. Let's take a look at these. We have no relations. We have a map. Oh, does this mean we can travel? So this is where we are, Arcnia. Okay. Derna. The last to join the Empire, the southern province of Magra is an arid wasteland ruled by Archduke Milanidas. During Tsar Milanidas' rebellion, this land was devastated by foul magic and rendered infertile. Local peasants now grow their crops in soil imported from other regions. The hills and mountains of Magra are blessed with silver, iron and coal. Oh no, sorry, we are here. We are in Anisote. Okay, which is in Magra, I guess. Okay, and this province. Overseer, Archduke Milandas, Archduke of Magra, Supreme Lord in the province of your birth, known for being obstinate and despotic, notorious even among the Arcanians. Patriarch Fotis, Patriarch of the Magra province and the founder of the new faith. He was the first to defy the laws established in the teachings of Isitis. He encouraged people to find the twin gods within and says that everyone is equal in the twins' eyes. Oh, so we know from this then a fate change already happened. Interesting. Current balance of power in Magra and who rules the province. Interesting, interesting. Let's continue. The boy down the street. The family expects more and more of you as you grow up. The teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes all the time. Your life these days is dedicated to studying for your future, for the future of the Brante family. Your younger brother Nathan keeps growing up too. He can hold a conversation now. You never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. It is a rainy day today. Father and mother have gone to a ball, and they left Nathan in your care. You lose track of time over the books in the sitting room, and Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Soon you hear his voice begging you to come outside. He's on the porch, sobbing, all covered in dirt. You walk up to him as he continues to bawl. It's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. I said I called my brother. He's still there. You have to go. Punish him, Brante. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house further down the street where the poorer artisans live. You see two boys lingering there on the porch. They are clearly both commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way, just like him. The other looks older, almost your age, but he is more broad-shouldered and taller. His name is Thomas. You heard it before. There, Brante, that's him. Nathan points at the younger boy and hides behind your back. Thomas grins and rolls up his sleeves to reveal strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labor for quite some time. Tomas Guerrero. Listen up, rich boys. We don't give a damn about you or your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fights with people who can throw him in the mud. Your hands clench into fists before you react. Nathan called them names first. No wonder they did the same. That's how it goes, but pushing your brother into a ditch is too much. Thomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. You are about to get ready for a fight when you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn your head to see Nathan, the one who started the whole mess. Listen to your brother first. Nathan keeps tugging on your sleeve. It seems he has something important to tell you. Come at Thomas and give him a beating. You simply have to teach that jerk a lesson. I doubt I can beat him. Maybe if in the previous chapters we had the fencing training. Say your brother is to blame. He did call them names first. Or resolve the matter peacefully. You do your best to reason with Thomas and avoid a fight. Let's hear about this. What Nathan has to say. Nathan keeps tugging on your sleeve, harder and harder. Finally you turn and look at him. Don't fight him, please. Look, he's huge. Let's go home. Who cares about them? You're all sweaty. Are you gonna listen to your little brother and walk away like a coward? All you rich boys are chickens. You do nothing but skulk. But when the push comes to shove, you run home to mommy. Now he's done it. Your patience has run out. You swing at Thomas and he jumps back, surprised by your assault. It takes him a moment to compose himself, but now he is ready. His fists cover his face and he attacks you with a quick jab. Now it is your turn to take a step backward. You start trading blows, huffing and puffing with rage. The younger brothers gawk in awe at the sight. Thomas does not resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fists aim for your head. You keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him. He takes a couple of glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. You start swinging your fists with greater and greater fury. Your heart is pounding like a hammer. You see nothing but the foe in front of you. How much longer will this take? You are worn out, your breath grows ragged, and your muscles grow heavy. But there is no way you can give up now. Nathan is watching you. Desperate and out of options, you swing and punch Thomas square in the nose, then immediately let his fist smack you in the temple. The blow rings through your forehead like a bell and blinds you for a moment. If we are going to die again, I swear. The word swims before your eyes. You clutch at your head to get your bearings. Thomas is standing in front of you, blood dripping from his nose. You no longer want to fight it out, and it seems your opponent would rather end it too. But you keep standing there, eyeing each other angrily. And suddenly, you hear an angry shout right next to you. An enraged man in a craftsman's apron is shaking his fist. Thomas' face contorts in terror. Right away. Probably he's dead. It's my father! Run! He's my childhood friend? Okay, he lives on the same street, born to a family of humble artisans. His dream is to change his lot, get a military education and earn the right to a sword. He intends to join the Imperial Legion. The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the mere prospect of that makes you run like the wind. Thomas sprints in front of you. You dash across the rotten wooden planks of the back alley, up and over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, and then forward into the tall grass. You hide there and stay quiet. You hear no sounds of pursuit. You exchange glances with Thomas and start laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. I'm gonna get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating, and then he'll start nagging me about the lots and the praises for days like he always does. Why do I always get myself mixed up in this stuff? But fighting's the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? The adults didn't see you fighting, you tell him, so all you have to do now is convince them you weren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? Mother gets nosebleeds all the time. Well, we could try it. Let's hope our little brothers don't tell on us. I talk to mine. There's a scratch on your head. Don't let them see. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There, good as new. You assure him that Nathan will never tell, and in return you'll make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed into a ditch again. With that, you shake hands with Thomas. His handshake is as strong as you would expect based on his fists. You make your way out of the tall grass. You need to leave before Thomas's father goes to your family and complains about you breaking your law. You come to realization on the way back. You had no idea the place where you were hiding even existed, and it wasn't too far from home. Thomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know lots of places like that. I'll tell you what. If we get out of this mess today, I'll show you the way to the old fortress wall. It's the perfect place to build your own fort. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build all alone. My brother never helps, he just gets in the way. You emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret only the two of you know. It seems you made a friend today. Huh. And more family union. More willpower. Met Thomas. We have made a friend, a boy named Thomas. $11.27. Riders on the road. It is blistering hot today, even for the sun-parched land of Magra. As soon as you are done with your studies, you dash outdoors and out of the stuffy room. You and Thomas roll up your shirt sleeves, but it barely helps. You would gladly go shirtless had you only been in the company of other boys. But there are 3 girls in the yard today. They are doing the laundry in a big wash tub, whispering and giggling. If you could, you would gladly keep watching one of them at work. Okay. She has big eyes of deep blue, her dark hair is braided, and her plain grey dress is mended and patched all over. Her name is Sophia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of the sun are reflected in her eyes. You, Thomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories, anything to make her laugh. Your neighbor, a humble girl from a poor, low-born family living on the same street. You sure love telling tall tales, Brante. Oh, I remember this one time. But then Sophia hears a voice calling her home. She nods to you and runs across the street, smiling. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking elsewhere. But then a stone on the road catches her foot. She stumbles and falls flat into the dust. The street starts shaking from the thundering of hooves. Riders appear on the road from around the corner. They bear a coat of arms you recognize right away. A sable serpent blade upon a field of vert. It symbolizes the Milanidas dynasty, the family of your Provenance Archduke. The horses dash forward. The lost wooden toy on the road cracks under their hooves. They will not slow down. They are the nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Sophia is in their way, just now starting to get back on her feet. Her mother is crying for her desperately behind the fence door. You freeze in terror. The riders surely see the girl. Are they going to stop, or are they going to trample her? In only a few moments, the beautiful girl will be toppled, trampled, and crushed. You rush into the road, blinded by hope, determined to stop the riders. You stay where you are, lest you get trampled too. Oh, if you do this, we die, right? You throw yourself blindly into the road, swinging your arms wildly. Dazed by the sound of the thundering hooves, you can see nothing in the dust. For a brief moment, the horses slow down just long enough for Sophia to get back on her feet and flee to the roadside. But then, the riders dig their spurs in. Oh boy. Dozens of hooves knock you off your feet and roll across your body. Your bones crack, break, and crumble. Your ears are ripped apart by the thundering rhythm of the ride. Your innards are pulverized. The last thing you remember is the sound of your own skull caving in. And died again. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself, to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable, but you cannot conceal the truth in this place. You are bathed in an unbearably bright light. It has no hint of warmth in it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadow in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permeated you since birth. They cover you from head to toe like rough, grey tatters, but they melt away in this light. You are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, making it the way it should be. It is as though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the world abides, the grand design that moves life itself. You tread a path that is barely visible in the blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light, you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire. And this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the path. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger a sword. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequences. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless god, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law will you live by? Empire. Is this not the ultimate manifestation of the law, the great and incredibly sophisticated mode of existence of all people? It is not. Your destiny is your own manifestation of the divine law. That's the lot. Family. It is the law that has been with you since the day you were born. Your family is a model of the world, a tiny universe, and it belongs to you just as you belong in it. Cause. Your life's work shapes the world, and thus you influence the great law itself. Yourself. You are an embodiment of the law. You have been made in accordance with the divine design, or against the law. You defy the design of the gods and the law that binds it together. Your life's work shapes the world, and thus you influence the great law itself. If there is a law, you can change it, right? That's my thinking if I pick cause. If I pick against the law, I feel like bad things would happen, but I am against it though. Nobility and all that. The lots. I will defy it. The blade flashes. The younger sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue your life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The younger extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. The branches are close now. It is time to descend. You are drawn downward into darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. This is to be expected, but the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Air. It scratches you on the inside. Your soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn. Then, you can feel again. You sense your body, head, arms, and legs. The light fades around you, obedient before a will that is stronger than you. You return to the world. Such is the law of the twins. You will return to the world until the time of your true death, and in this world you will have a body with which to feel pain and suffering and pleasure. You smell a sickly, moist odor. You open your eyes and see the figures of mother and father in the gloom of the family crypt, speaking to each other quietly. They stop as soon as they hear you gasp. Mother runs to you and locks you in an embrace as father wraps you in his cloak. Neither of them says a word as they lead you out to the surface and back home. You've met a terrible end, my son. You were trampled by those horses. Don't be so careless ever again. The lives you were granted by the twin gods are not to be wasted so recklessly. You would be punished for this, but the twins have already meted out their punishment. You tremble, your steps unsteady as you learn how to move again. Your body is eerily smooth, fresh, and renewed. Even the recent scars and scratches are all gone, but there is something new on it, a fresh black mark, a reminder of your lesser death beneath those hooves. Remember that by the twins' mercy, we are all given enough time in this world. Should you die before your time, you will be brought back by their grace. For 3 times they will rescue you from a terrible fate, but the 4th death is true and final for all. Every loss of life we were granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us, but the gods told us not to mourn a lesser death, and so we will humbly accept this and move on. See, your body has been reborn anew, with all your wounds healed. Do not mourn your loss of life, my son, but thank the twin gods for their justice. Do not speak of this, and do not ever play by the road again if you wish to keep on living. You cautiously go back outside the next day. Children from the neighborhood surround you. They all saw you get trampled, and now they all ask you the same question. What was it like to die? Thomas rescues you from their pestering. He pushes the motley crew aside, hugs you, and pats you on the back. Look at you, buddy. You gave an entire life to keep a girl safe. And you see Sophia. She's standing nearby, shyly working up the courage to walk over to you. Soon she finally approaches you and begins speaking rapidly. Bronto, why did you throw yourself in front of those horses? My life isn't worth any more than yours, so why did you think that? You weren't supposed to die there. It was all those riders' fault. They deserve to die, not you. Her voice rises to a shriek. She suddenly stops and runs back home. You stay where you are, watching her run, the golden rays of the sun dancing in her braided hair. +1 nobility, ingenuity, spirituality, and we lost willpower. Sophia saved event has happened. You saved a local girl named Sophia from lesser death. I wonder if she would have died if we don't choose that as well. Maybe she would still jump away from the horses. Year 1128. Fall, soil, and gunpowder. Sophia disappeared after the terrible incidents with the horses. Her friends gossip that her parents sent her off to serve a rich noble dynasty. You haven't seen each other since that day, but you still remember Sophia's eyes, the sunlight shining in them. But no matter what, life goes on. I bet we will meet her later. You are 10 years old now. Your studies continue and you are learning more about the land you live in. Anizot is an ancient city in an imperial province by the name of Magra. All soil in Magra was turned to ash eons ago, scorched by magic during the rebellion of Duke Char Milanidas. The magical arts are all but gone now, but the scorched earth has remained barren and infertile ever since. Since then, the entire province has lain barren, tormented by cold and scorching winds in equal measure, with few precious plants taking root on their own. All fertile land in Magra is brought elsewhere and brought here by an endless caravan of carts and carriages. To pay for food and soil, the cities of Magra became skilled in many trades, primarily mining and digging for metals and stone. Last fall, there was an explosion just outside the city, followed by clouds of thick smoke. The first such incident frightened the citizens, but then explosions and smoke became an everyday occurrence. Soon everyone grew used to it. Father explains that the miners are using a new invention called gunpowder. It makes it easier for them to reach the precious stones and metals buried deep within the earth. Then one day, a thunderous explosion rocks the city, and black, billowing smoke covers the houses. People are stuck in their homes or windows tightly shut. The air is impossible to breathe. Nathan coughs all the time. Gloria and you cough only when nobody is watching. If Mother hears it, she'll make you inhale those hot herbal vapors just like Nathan. It takes 2 days for the black smoke to disperse. People pour onto the streets to meet their friends. Thomas is eager to share everything he knows about this incident with you. They took lots of burnt up people to the city temple. Mom told me. She was helping the healers. There are many rumors. Some claim it was the work of a beast stirred from its slumber, while others say it's the surviving witches that continue to threaten the order in the Empire with their accursed powers. But as for you, you patiently wait for Father to come back home, and then you'll ask him about it. Father spends day and night working at the prefecture, while Mother spends all her time in prayer. It takes a full week for Father to finally come home, and he's almost completely spent. You muster enough courage during dinner to ask him what happened outside the city. Father raises his head, his face a bleak, weary mask, and starts muttering his proclamation. It's almost as if he doesn't see you. It's the mine outside the city. They were trying to get to a vein of ore. There was an explosion. The mine caved in, and the black smoke started flowing. Many workers died there. It was all because Count El Velasco, who owns the mines, wanted them to start mining that vein before they were ready. Some of the workers weren't even reborn. Perhaps the twins thought their final time had come. The prefecture has been inundated with complaints from families that have lost their breadwinners, asking the judges for help. Many people also lost their cattle to black smoke. Count El Velasco blames gunpowder for disaster. The prefecture and the newspapers just repeat whatever he says, but it's plain old greed and tyranny of noblemen that are to blame. Why the welfare of our province is always paid for with commoner lives. Then, without warning, he grows silent again. You keep thinking about it for days. Can a human life really end so easily? A single moment of bad luck and you die, only to re-emerge from the temple or the family crypt with a new black mark on your arm. Or worse, you may remain where you fell, dead, never to be reborn again, ever. Oh, these are the city stats. Order went down, and the wealth, however, went up. Stefan's arrival. During lunch, father tells you to stay home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stefan will return home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather Gregor Brante, as well as a noble friend of the family. You are excited about your brother's return. It has been years since you last saw him. How has he changed during his years away from home? You and father await the guests anxiously. The doorbell rings. 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather is the first to come in, naturally. He has not changed a bit since his last visit, still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Grandfather is followed by a stately young man dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver, whom you barely recognize as your brother. Stefan casts a glance at your threadbare clothes, your dirty fingernails, and smirks. The last to enter the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, wrinkled face. We have heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustin Alborn, Stefan's uncle, a family friend, and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir Alborn smiles lightly and offers you his hand. Augustin Alborn. The supreme judge, a prefect of the Magra province and a family friend, a nobleman of renowned lineage. He is also the brother of the late Amelia Alborn, your father's first wife. He became prefect by virtue of his unimpeachable service and reputation. He advocates greater liberties and rights for the common estate. And this must be your younger son, Brante, yes? You have your father's eyes, young man. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Alborn. But there is a moment of quiet when Stefan's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There is a question in Stefan's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We, noblemen, often put our emotions on public display, father, not even after a lengthy separation. Wow. There is no embrace. Instead, Stefan nods to father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Alborn is the first to enter. He kisses mother's hand and Gloria's too, and tassels Nathan's hair after he sees him hiding by the table. Grandfather acknowledges them with a glum nod. Greetings, Lydia Brante. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child. And you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. Your elder brother ignores Gloria completely. Not even a greeting. You proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. Alborn is the only one with a friendly smile at his face. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stefan spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. You cast a glance at grandfather. He looks like he's about to choke on those words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at a boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor, parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love, I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be there to raise Stefan, but there was still a family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the while. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge's rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps, and who knows, perhaps even the younger man of the Brante family will contribute to the... You clumsy, low-born cretin. Everybody is startled by this sudden outburst. Grandfather's face turns red. He's glaring at a young lady servant holding a pitcher over a glass. Stefan is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacket. Be gone this instant. The lady servant runs away, leaving the pitcher on a small table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Stefan glares at Gloria across the table. She is sitting right next to you. She shrinks down and hunches over and under his gaze. Father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stefan's gaze does not move. The silence lasts far too long. Then, she starts to rise from her chair. If the Brante gentleman so wished. Your hands clench into fists under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family, his own mother and sister like this? It is all grandfather's doing. Stefan could not even bring himself to embrace father without his permission, and yet they are noblemen, and they have the right to act this way. If there is any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, we do not want to see it. Insult? You step out of line and insult Stefan for what he has done. Make small talk? You try to act like nothing happened and make small talk with the guest. You rise from the table and help your sister wait on your family. I do that. You deliberate for a moment, then take the napkin off your lap and rise to join Gloria. A moment later you hear the sound of another chair moving. Your mother joins in. The three of you now refill glasses, serve food and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Elborn tries to make small talk with father, but in vain, so he focuses his attention to grandfather and Stefan. Grandfather is pleased to inform him of Stefan's achievements at the boarding school, especially his exemplary sword fighting skills. He constantly stresses the importance of your elder brother for the future of the family. You listen to him dispassionately as you continue serving new dishes to the table. As you wait at the nobleman's table, you, your sister and mother never bump into each other. Your labor is impeccable. Grandfather could not have found fault with it even if he tried. Your shoulders and back are aching, but being a manservant inside your own house hurts even more. When the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace you with relief. You did not neglect your relatives and share their humiliation, and the composure that you have shown gave you new strength. Oh, 10 willpower. Excellent. Age 11. The dropped handkerchief. Hot, dry wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anizote prefer to remain in their chambers, while the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree. You are on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to a noble acquaintance, and you are to deliver it. Thomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The two of you are inseparable now. The errand is an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the part of Anizote where the nobles live. So here you are, in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Thomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of the fountain's basin. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in a workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy life. This is our lot, you remind him. We work and endure and suffer. But Thomas waves your words away. Yeah, I know all that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble. Our strength is patience and persistence. So yeah, I say, but I wanna make my fortune no matter what. So, how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you, for example, Brante. Your father's a nobleman, but even if that didn't make you one, just look at your hands. You never had to work as hard as me. But we have the same lot, so we are supposed to suffer the same. Or look at your father. He's a judge. He toils at the prefecture day and night doing his judging. And he's a noble? I never seen an Archnian work as hard as he does. You shrug. The Archnians are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. Humans will never be their equals. Archnians are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. If the books are to be believed, of course. You have never seen one yourself. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Come on, rebel like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and wheels against the cobblestones and see flags bearing a coat of arms, a sable serpent, on a field of word. It makes you squirm. It is the Archduke's coat of arms, the Milanidas dynasty. The carriage door opens, revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders, suggested but not revealed by the cut of her dress, her black hair cascading over them, her stately, slim silhouette, her pouty lips and prim nose, and those eyes dark like the night sky, the way she moves fluidly, gracefully. And most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She is a masterpiece given life. She is an Archnian. Octavia Milanidas, young daughter of Tarquinius Milanidas, the Archduke of the Magra province. She is the embodiment of Archnian beauty and pride. We first laid eyes on her by a fountain in the golden square of Anisot, when she dropped a handkerchief there. Clear the way for me. The Milanidas guardsmen work quickly to clear the way to the fountain for the Archnian lady. The searing sun dances on her skin in bizarre patterns. With one elegant motion, she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I be. That's Octavia Milanidas, our Archduke's own daughter. The Archnian turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestones right next to you, her handkerchief. It is right there by your feet, intricate craftsmanship, expensive woven fabric, delicately decorated with emerald filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Will you dare draw the beautiful Archnian's attention in order to return her lost possession, or would you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? You walk up to the Archnian lady to give her back the handkerchief she had dropped. You quickly hide the trophy, planning to sell it later. You watch the Archnian lady depart, trying to burn her every movement into your memory. What if I keep it and later I can use that handkerchief? But use on what? Because we have no interaction. Let's just give it back. It takes a moment to overcome your fear. You follow the young lady Milanidas and call out to her in a nervous voice. She turns around, her beautiful face marred by a puzzled expression. You extend the dropped handkerchief towards her. Lady Octavia's face contorts into a sneer. She signs to the guardsman indifferently. The guardsman's gauntlet clad... Oh shit. Hand slaps you in the face. It rings your head like a heavy bell. Your nose cracks obediently under this staggering force. The rest of you follows suit, and you fall prone. You can discern the guardsman's voice through the painful din in your ears. Should I take the handkerchief back, lady? After a commoner's hands have befouled it, let him wipe himself with it, for all I care. Okay, so that was stupid, but she remembers me. The carriage drives away. Thomas runs up to you and drags you back to the fountain. Your head is still ringing from the blow. The fateful handkerchief is still crumpled in your hand. Okay. You experience your first romantic feelings. Yeah, very romantic. Year 1130. Spring. The Quorum Decree. 12 years old now. You overhear an important conversation. It is a spring night and Mother has just sent everyone to bed. You walk past Father's study and hear voices coming from beyond the door. Grandfather is yelling and Father is replying quietly. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid Mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they'll mention you too. That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he? Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont may be lowborn, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful, should he become the chairman of the lesser quorum. I don't give a damn who this Egmont is, Robert. What he is, however, he is lowborn. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They're nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm noble hand to guide them. I wasted so many years trying to quash that quorum decree. But that accursed Cornelius Tempest did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic creed. And now even lowlights can wield power. True power, Robert. Just the right to discuss the size of the Archduke's tax, nothing more. That is only the beginning. What's next? Are they going to arm the lowlifes now? Make them into judges? If the Empire rejects the foundations and the lots, the entire edifice will crumble. But who am I telling this to? It is already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are a harbinger. Harbinger? No, harbinger of its destruction. Father, I'm begging you. I do not wish to marry a third time. Lydia is a good wife and dutiful mother to my children. If you would only allow her to... I will allow them nothing. Neither Egmont nor that freeloading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? I can already see where this is going, and I'd rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where nobles and lowlifes share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book, but that dream will never come true. They will never call me Venerable L. Brante, and it's all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stefan addressed in such a manner one day. Thank the twins I didn't let you ruin the boy. He's about to grow up a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of L. Brante. You have 2 more grandsons. Those spineless milksops from the common lot? They're incapable of anything. The best your middle son could do is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mantle, although I have grave doubts about even that. As for the downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever. You hear grandfather's heavy footsteps, the toddling of his cane and the slamming of the door. It's time to sneak back home before you are discovered. Power. School begins. You started studying at the school of Sir Tibor and began to master the sciences. Alright. I think this is a good place to stop. Not because of the time, mainly because after all this reading, I think my throat is like suffering greatly. I can barely talk. Yeah, so let's stop here and we'll pick it up later. So thank you guys and see you. Bye.